Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Hockeyscape podcast. A very special guest here joining me tonight. He was an OJHL champion with the Pickering Panthers, and they made it all the way to the national final in Centennial Cup. Please welcome Lucas Littlejohn.
Thank you. Glad to be on.
Absolutely. So, right away, Lucas, at what age did you start playing hockey?
I was really little. I'd say I started skating when I was about 1 year old, and then, just kind of jumped right into, playing, in kind of just like development leagues back then, I guess. With my dad playing professional, obviously, I got to be around the game a lot, and just kind of jumped right into it as soon as I could. So yeah, I'd say probably two or three, just kind of got right into it.
Now, as you mentioned there, your dad playing professional, how much did that kind of mean to you as a kid, knowing that you would get to play the game that he was playing?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, just carrying on what he had going. It was just kind of great to just. It was cool to kind of be around that environment all the time. As such a young kid, being able to go in the dressing room, be around the players, be around the coaches, just kind of see how that lifestyle is. It was kind of it was a big. It was just huge to kind of be around that and just kind of like for my future. It was just kind of helped it grow the game in my mind for me wanting to get into it, and it's helped for me so far. So yeah, I couldn't be more happier with how it's gone.
Now, talk about growing up playing in Clarington and the opportunities the Toros organization gave you.
Yeah, it was it started off strong. We had a couple good years right off the bat, and novice and minor Adam, and we made it all the way to the OMHA finals our first year, and it was a whirlwind, a few years, some ups and downs for sure, but everybody involved in that organization, I have to give a big thanks to. A lot of my coaches helped me throughout the way. So yeah, just kind of with my development, I'd have to give a big thanks to them for sure.
Now, back in 2020, you were drafted by the Niagara Ice Dogs of the Ontario Hockey League. Take us through your draft day, and was Niagara one of the teams that you thought might take a chance on you?
It's definitely one team I spoke to. I couldn't really make out who it was going to be when that day came, but I talked to them a couple of times before the draft, and it was kind of just in the back of my mind that it would be a pretty cool spot to go to if I heard my name called by them, and um, obviously it was Niagara in the end, but yeah, it was just kind of, yeah, I never really had a team in mind that I thought like I was going to go to for sure. But yeah, that whole day was just kind of, it was a mix of emotions, excited, happy, and then a little frustrated at times, and as the rounds go on. But once you hear your name called, it's all worth the wait. And Niagara's been a good place to me so far. So yeah, it's just couldn't be more happier with where I got picked.
Now, this year, you got into a few games with them and actually had 3 goals during that time. So, take us through those goals and how special it was to get your first OHL goal.
Yeah, it was crazy. Stepping up there, they were down some bodies. They needed some guys to step up. So I got the call. I actually stepped up and played my first handful of games as a forward, something I'm not used to. Jumped into the first game. Obviously, it went pretty well. Got a couple of goals. So, yeah, just once that first goal went in, it just kind of everything went black. I didn't really remember it even going in the net until I kind of watched it back later on that night. But yeah, it was just crazy. I didn't think I would really get the opportunity to even play my first game, and then to get 2 goals, it just capped off that night for sure.
Now, this past season, obviously winning an OJ championship with the Pickering Panthers. Take us through the whole year from the moment you signed with Pickering. How special of a year was it for you?
It was awesome. Rob pulled me aside before the season, and I kind of sat down with him and had a conversation on what the year is going to look like. And I just never looked back from there. I thought it was going to be a great place to play for me and kind of develop my game, and it was exactly that. It was rough at the start of the year. We kind of had to find our identity a bit. We shuffled up the lineup at the deadline and got some key pieces to our team, and yeah, it was just an all around great year. Probably the most fun I've ever had playing hockey. So yeah, it was just awesome all around.
Now, talk about the whole year in a whole, especially with the last 2 years with COVID here in Canada. How special was it to actually be able to play a full season?
Oh, it was awesome. A full year cut off, 1 year cut short. It was just awesome to get back in, have a full schedule. Obviously, we didn't get to play all the divisions, but what we had was perfect. Being able to step back in and play games with the boys, with the game you love so much. It was just huge after two long years without it. It was great to come back, and then obviously having the year we did, it was just a great welcome back to hockey, and yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Now, take us through the entire playoff run. What was kind of going through your guys' heads, and at what point did you kind of realize that, hey, you had the team to do this?
Yeah, I think we had some pretty big aspirations going into playoffs. I think we had a pretty special group, and we all knew that, but we just didn't want to get too ahead of ourselves, really. We knew that all the teams that were making or made it to playoffs were great teams, and everybody was going to give us a run. So, just not getting ahead of ourselves was a big thing. But also just playing with swagger, playing with the confidence that we are a good group and we can do big things. So yeah, just started off playoffs, went into it hard, and just kind of kept going from there. And then obviously making it to the finals against JRC. Great squad they had there. They took us to the distance, 7 games, 30 seconds left. That was just a grind of a series. Still get chills thinking about that goal. And yeah, it was just an awesome playoff run and awesome end to it.
Yeah, we'll get into that series now here. 7 games and all-out war. Just talk about showing up to the rink for all 7 of those games and what was kind of going through your head every night.
Yeah, like I said, chills really is just the big thing to describe it. Just getting to the rink every day, knowing you're going to go to war with your boys. It was just awesome. Obviously JRC we didn't get to play them throughout the year as they were in the other division there, and so we didn't really know too much what to expect. Just kind of all we really knew was watching off video, stuff like that. But obviously, you can watch as much video as you want. Once you get into the game, it's a lot different. So yeah, it was just like showing up to the rink every day to play that series was just so exciting, and all the boys were so amped for it. And yeah, it was just incredible series. Like I said, just an absolute war, back and forth series the whole time. And then obviously 7 games. It was an awesome series, and glad we got the win.
Now, back and forth, that's exactly what happened each of those games. And just talk about having the amount of fans that were both in Pickering and at JOC home games. Just talk about having that many fans in the finals. How special is that?
Yeah, for sure. Playing in Pickering throughout the year, the regular season, we didn't really get big crowds. It was just kind of families, friends, stuff like that. So being able to see that support we got as we were making our way through the playoffs, as the crowd built more and more people, it was special. Being able to have that crowd behind you, it's huge for momentum, stuff like that. So yeah, being able to see that was definitely huge, especially in JRC too. They brought in some fans too. So just kind of being able to feed off the atmosphere, it just helps out a lot when you're in big games like that.
Now, one game I do want to bring up in that series, because playoffs were pushed back a month, one of the games in that series fell on Mother's Day. How special was that to have your mom in the crowd for that game?
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, all our moms support us all the way. They do so much for us. Um, so being able to have her in the crowd for that one was extra special. I'm sure all the guys could vouch for that too. They do a lot for us, and yeah, it was definitely pretty cool to have that game on that night.
Now, going into game 7, 10 minutes left, a goal gets disallowed, and there's about a 5 to 10 minute break. Just kind of take us through what you kind of saw on that and how you guys had to stay focused sitting on the bench for that long.
Yeah, obviously very very controversial goal over the OJHL that night. I'm not gonna really spark any old emotions from anybody that went on that night. But what, like you said, like the break was it was good and bad. Obviously a little bit of a break, get your legs back, but also just like you just want to keep playing. You don't want to stop like that. Kind of have your momentum die a bit. But yeah, just like you said, just stay in it, stay with the boys, just kind of keep loose. Obviously, that was a pretty long delay. And yeah, like I said, a very controversial goal, but I'd leave that up to the refs. I think they know what they're doing. So I think, yeah, it's just kind of staying it with the boys for that break.
Now take us through the second that final goal goes in there with 37 seconds to go, and when did the emotions kind of hit you guys that hey, like this is over, we did this?
Yeah, obviously, 30 seconds left, still a lot of time. It is, but it isn't. So we just, as that goal goes in, we really thought like, man, this is this happening right now, and we just had to finish that game out. They had a couple good chances right off the end there. I got pretty close, so just not being able to take your foot off the gas for that last 30 seconds is huge. Anything can happen, and I think once it got down to 5 seconds or so, we could really start getting excited about it, and yeah, it just didn't really feel real at the time, and then as that last buzzer went off, it was just crazy.
Now talk about getting to lift the Buckland Cup over your head. How special of a moment was that?
Yeah, it's definitely special. Any trophy you get to win, in sports is it's hard to win, and so being able to be rewarded after a long season like that, it was just such a relief. Um, being the first team in Pickering history too, definitely extra special. We're in the history books for that one too. So, um, yeah, it was just all around just a special night, and I'll never forget it.
Now we'll jump into Esteban here in a little bit, but speaking of championships, you won another one last night with the Whitby Warriors of the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League. Take us through that game last night and how special it was to win two league championships in a matter of, I think, about 80 days or so.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even really know how to explain it. Last night really hasn't even sunk into me too much yet. So, being like I said, any championship to win is hard, and being able to win, two in the matter of, like you said, 80 days or so, it's crazy. I don't even really. I'm at a loss of words for it. So, it's just, yeah, honestly, it's just so cool to have that happen in all one year. Um, it's very rare. So, yeah, it's just pretty exciting.
And for the fans that don't know, you guys were playing the Toronto Beaches, who I was the team photographer for this year. And the way things worked out with our team, we didn't have a home rink for the second and third round of playoffs, so we had to play a game in Pickering actually. So how weird was that going into that barn this year as an away player?
Yeah, it was definitely weird. I don't know. I also have never played lacrosse there before, so obviously, stepping into that rink to play lacrosse and being on that away bench kind of felt a little different. It felt like something was a little off. Especially seeing my parents on the other side of the rink rather than the corner they stood all year. It was different, but once you're kind of playing, you don't really think about those things, and you're just kind of playing lacrosse, and you just kind of go with the flow. So at first, it was definitely going out for warm up. It was definitely different, but once the game got going, it was all right.
Now, one thing I want to touch on before we get back in the hockey aspect of things here. Last night, you had a big crowd show up to cheer you on. You had your own little fan section there last night. Did you hear them cheering you on during the game, or did you kind of realize that happened after the game?
I noticed them a bit for sure. They were getting pretty rowdy. Um, but yeah, I just kind of, I didn't really want to notice them too much. Kind of get me rattled off my game. But I heard them. I heard them all there, and just being able to know that those people are in your corner, rooting for you in games like that. It's just huge, and it's pretty cool to see for sure.
And before we get into Esteban here with the national championship for the OJ, we're gonna get into the fan questions. And the first one, Juan Copeland wants to know, why is Copeland your favorite on the team?
Oh, Copes. Yeah, he's a beauty. He's always gonna make the boys laugh in the room. He's a funny guy, and he always likes to crack a joke. So, yeah, no, Copes is bugging me for that one, but I'll give it to him. He's a good guy.
The next one, you'll definitely get a kick out of this. But how much did you like living with Hicks and Esteban and eating at the
Oh God. Me and Ben, we grew over this year huge. We carpooled to the rink every day, so we made some good memories. And then obviously when we got the room list for Estevan, seeing us in the same room was we had a good laugh at first, and we just thought it was just going to be a good 2 weeks, and it turned out to be quite interesting. But yeah, and then the tower. It was a restaurant. We ate there every night pretty much, um, and it was just lots of memories made there too. Whether it was doing singing karaoke with the boys, um, it was just a lot of great memories there. But yeah, it was just a great place to us. They served us good food, and you know, uh, nothing but thank you to say to them.
What does he think of fans at the Clarington Eagles games during the playoffs?
The Eagles games got pretty rowdy. I was there for a good probably almost every home game during down their stretch there. So yeah, the fans there they got loud, and they showed their support. So definitely a crazy fan base down in Clarington, but yeah, it was just obviously cool to see for a hometown like that.
That was from Lucas Chapman. Don't know if that meant anything to you.
Yeah, he one of my buddies. Yeah.
Now, next one we got here. Who is the best member of your billet family?
Uh, that's a tough one. Obviously, I don't really like to pick favorites, but I don't know. It's a good mix. I can't really give a definitive answer on that one. They're all amazing people, and they've all been amazing to me with my time there. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that one open. I don't want to step on anyone's toes there. So they're all great. Yeah, like I said, they've been awesome to me, and yeah, I can't really pick a favorite.
Now, what advice would you give to younger players?
Just kind of stick with it. Me as a younger player, I was never really the guy. I had to kind of find my game and grow into myself, and um, just kind of never doubt yourself. Just kind of, keep grinding, keep up the hard work, and it'll all pay off one day.
Now, we'll get back into talking about Esteban here. Talk about, first of all, you win the Buckland Cup, and within, I think, 24 to 48 hours, you guys were at Pearson Airport. I think a couple days later, at about 8 or 9 a.m. and getting on a flight. How wild was that you had to do that so quickly?
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely pretty quick turnaround. We had that one night just celebrating with the boys, and then we had one day to kind of recover ourselves, and then get up early in the morning and head to the airport, and leave for Estevan. So yeah, it was definitely an eye opener. The big turnaround there, but I think we managed ourselves pretty well. So yeah.
So let's go through here. You guys get to Esteban, get through the round robin, and then have a little bit of a crazy experience in the tournament aspect, in the playoff aspect of the tournament. Sorry, a double overtime game. Talk about that and just how crazy that was. I know. we went through that a couple times against each other in the finals there. But talk about that at Centennial Cup. How nuts was that?
Yeah, it was crazy. You know, it's just in those moments, you know, we just got to stick together. And you know, Kel Cavlin with a big goal, his first of the year, actually couldn't come at a better time. Um, you know, just an unreal moment with the boys. You know, just so electric after that goal goes in. And like you said, going through it a couple of times in the series there with JRC definitely helped us a bit. You know, being through that experience, you know, before it just you know, gave us that extra edge of, you know, we've been through this before, so just kind of play our game and do what we do. So, but yeah, obviously once that goal goes in, it's just crazy, and you know, just rush the ice. And obviously, like I said too, first goal for Kilcavlin, so huge shout out to him, and couldn't come out a better time.
Now we'll get right into the national final here. You guys are up 1-0 going into the third period. Just talk about what kind of happened there in the third period and what was going through all your heads there for the whole game.
Yeah, um, honestly, like playing them in the round robin, you know, getting beat pretty bad. I think it was 9-1 or something. It was just kind of a feeling out game. You know, I think we had in the back of our minds that, you know, if we made it through this round robin and, you know, saw them in the final, we can, you know, really learn off this game. You know, so we did. We saw them in the final. We kind of changed our whole game plan. We had a couple big talks with the coaching staff, brought all the guys in, and just kind of, you know, got a new game plan and just asked the boys to stick with it and, you know, trust the process. So we just kind of went with a whole defensive game, you know, just collapse to the D zone, you know, one forechecker go, just kind of stay back, let them come to us. And, you know, obviously, yeah, it worked for 2 periods and a bit. And, you know, it's just with the team like that, with Brooks, you know, they're so highly offensively skilled. They're bound to. Like, you're not going to shut out a team like that. It's very rare. So they're bound to score eventually. But you know, I think we obviously gave our best effort, and you know, I don't think we could have done anything more really. It's just how the night went. But you know, being able to shut them out for that long in the game, it was pretty special. And I think we kind of give ourselves a pat on the back a bit after that one. Obviously the loss stung, but you know, being able to have a game like that after what happened in the round robin, it was just pretty cool. And you know, it was just awesome to, you know, come through that with the boys. And yeah.
Now here, before we wrap up, we'll have a little bit of team fun here. So who's the best and worst trooper on the Pickering Panthers?
Best and worst chirper, I'd say. Whew, I'll go with worst first. You know, I don't. We didn't really. You know, we had a chirpy team, but you know, I can't really remember most of them. But one guy I'm gonna throw under the bus here for being the worst chirper, I'm gonna have to say. Whoa, that's a hard one. Um, you know, I'm gonna go with Lucas Lapalme. I don't know. He seems like a guy that you just throw out some weird ones and catch the people off guard. But I don't know. Yeah, I'd throw him under the bus right off the bat there.
Best and
And
worst.
then yeah, so as for the best chirper, sorry there, I'd probably say I don't know. I might go with Tommy. You know, me and him were always beside each other on the bench, so yeah, Brendan Tomlinson, he'll have some good ones. Not often, but when he throws them out there, there's some good ones. So yeah.
Now the next one we'll go with best and worst dresser on the team.
Dresser. Um, I'm gonna say best dresser. Well, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go either Lucas Rowe. Um, yeah, I'll go with Lucas Rowe. I think he's got a pretty good wardrobe, and he's always looking good. So I'll give him that one. And I'd have to go with worst dresser. Hmm. I'm gonna go with Peyton Adams-Matthews. I think I hate to throw him under the bus. He's such a great guy, but I just don't really think he's just, I don't know. Some of his outfits are just kind of lazy and not well put together. But I'm sorry for that one. But yeah, I'll have to go with him on that one.
He also got thrown under the bus by the OJ I think Damon was.
Yeah, he did there. Yeah. That was pretty bad. The boys had a good laugh after that one, but yeah, he was pretty good with it too. He was just laughed it off, and really that's all you could do. So yeah, good for him.
Now, who has the best and worst taste in music?
Um, Jeez. Let's say I'm gonna go back to Tommy with best because he was always our ox guy in the room. So I'll just give him that one, and then worst taste. I don't know. That one's hard. I haven't really heard anybody else play some music other than Tommy because he's always on the aux. So yeah, I don't know about that one. That one's a tough one.
Now, here, before we wrap up, I'll let you kind of send out a message to the Pickering Panthers fans. What can you say about this year?
Yeah, just thanks for the support. Obviously, you guys showed out for us in the playoffs. With the big watch group there down in Centennial Cup and Estevan too. Lots of messages we received with just endless support. So, obviously with the great run we had and them being behind us the whole way, it was just definitely a big thank you to all them. And yeah, just couldn't be happy with the fan base and playing in Pickering this year.
Now, actually, come to think of that, one guy I want to ask about is Captain Oshawa. How special was it to have him there supporting you guys?
Yeah.
Estevan.
Yeah, he made the trip down. It was a surprise for us. We didn't know he was coming. Obviously, he was at multiple playoff games for us too. Just being loud in the stands and get the boys pretty fired up. And then obviously, yeah, we didn't know he was coming down. So obviously, when he showed up, it was pretty cool to see that he supports us that much and was willing to make the trip down to Estevan. So yeah, the boys were definitely pretty excited to see him there.
Absolutely. Well, on behalf of the listeners, Lucas, I'd like to thank you for coming on here today. It was a pleasure talking about your time with Pickering this year and your hockey career. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks at Minto Cup for Lacrosse Nationals, buddy.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.